All right, here we go.
Mm.
There's everybody trickling in.
Hello, hello.
Wonderful. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. We'll give everyone just another minute to get settled and then we'll get started.
Oh, it's interesting watching that number climb.
Mhm. All right. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. We'll give everyone maybe another 10 seconds or so, and then we'll get started. All right. Well, are we ready? We want to dive in?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay, thanks everybody for joining us for our May webinar. We're very excited this month. Today's topic is the basics. So we're going back to the basics of your Drupal website, covering some things that hopefully you are already doing. And if you're not, it's always good to get that ground foundation in today. So we've got the basics this month for our May webinar topic. On the webinar today, we've got our team, our account manager team with Chrissy and Christina, who's also our project manager. We have Brian on as well. He's our account executive and always happy to talk to anybody that you know that may need a website. And then I'm Jordan. You guys know me from the webinars each month. And then I'm also our operations director. Okay, we're going to do our poll question this month right at the beginning. I'm going to go ahead and launch it since we are covering the basics. I wanted to know how often you guys are utilizing our OneEach support. So have you taken advantage of any of the ways that OneEach provides support resources? And hopefully you guys have. We've got options on here on if you've seen a training video on the website, if you've submitted a support ticket, if you've met with your account manager, attended the webinar. And then the last one is, what? I had no idea these awesome resources existed. Please send me more information. And we will absolutely reach out and send you info on how to access this. But hopefully you guys are familiar with where these resources are. It is a multi-select option. So if you've done all of them, that is wonderful. Give everyone just another minute here to answer that poll question, and then we'll end it and share those results. So get those final answers in, and we'll end that poll and share the results here. So this is great news. We love seeing that you guys are especially meeting with your account manager. Looks like 64% of you have been able to have training sessions with your account manager, which is wonderful. That is always included in your services. So if you ever have questions, you're always welcome to reach out to them and get some training scheduled. Our support team is always there 24/7. We've got more and more videos we're throwing up on our support site. And for the 2 people that did not answer, we will be reaching out to you. We'll make sure you know how to access those resources. All right, let's dive back into the webinar then. Today's agenda, we are going to start off with some did you knows. Then we're going to move into creating a basic page and how to style it, some kind of website 101 tips and tricks there. We're going to review embedding items on your pages if it's a video or maybe it's another type of embed code. Those steps are the same. How to create and hyperlink PDF documents, how to link out to those. I'm going to revisit how to create and schedule your rotor images. Those are always the first thing people usually see on your website. So we want to review how to update those, and then how to manage your main menu. And then this webinar session, we're going to put a Q&A session at the end of this webinar. So because we are in Zoom webinar, if you do have any questions, you are welcome to put them in the Q&A tab within Zoom, not the chat tab. You can put them in the Q&A tab. Our full team here will see them and we can start to respond to them. But what we'd like to do is save all of your website questions, feel free to throw them in the Q&A session or that chat box now. And then at the end, we're going to go through and answer as many as we can. So hopefully there's quite a few in there. We want to make sure we're addressing all of your questions, but we're going to save the end of the webinar today to go through those together. We'll share screen and kind of walk through anything that we maybe didn't already cover in the webinar today. So as you think of them, feel free to put them in the Q&A chat. All right. Diving into a couple did you knows, we like to start off each webinar, or we have been with a couple did you knows. The couple that we have for you today is how to copy and paste content into your website. You may hear us in the past, we say, do not copy and paste from one source into your website. It's a terrible idea. It always brings over extra formatting code. We are here to show you how to do that, where it does not bring over extra formatting code, where you get the thumbs up from our team if you do it this way. And that is using the Control-Shift-V method. So I'll demo that here in just a second. Also, did you know that all of your page components have the ability to have a background image placed behind them? I think a lot of us forget that capability exists. So I want to walk through kind of what that looks like and how it can be a really useful tool. And that one goes hand in hand with our next did you know is that you can use images to break up page content. So using those components on pages, even if it's a very simple image, you can use it to break up page content. And then did you know you can make single space text? I know we hit that enter button, you get that double return, but it is possible to single space that out by holding that shift key down. So again, we'll cover that today so you can see those. So we're going to dive into some demo portions of the webinar. The first did you know that I talked about was copying and pasting from another source into the website. So I have a Google Doc pulled up right now. This could also be a Word doc or another source that you're pulling website copy from, especially if you have a team of people working to pull content together. This is in a font that is not the default font for my website. I've got this purple color, which is not in my brand colors on my website, and kind of a mix of normal text and bolded text. So if I wanted to copy this over to my website, I would go ahead and copy, Command C or Control C for that copy command. You can even right click and hit that copy button. And when you come to your website, we'll go ahead and create just a new basic page here. And what we tell you not to do is to right click and then paste or Command V, paste that copy in there, right? It carried over all that extra formatting code. And when we look in the back end, we've got all this extra line of code, which should not be there. So what we want to tell you to do instead is to hit Control, Shift, and V when you paste that copy in. And as you can see, it cleaned up all that extra formatting code. It took away that purple heading. It put it back in the font that is the default font for my website. I no longer have that one bold sentence. And when we look at the source code, I am just seeing that website copy. It looks much cleaner on the back end there. So if you must copy and paste from an external source, just remember to use that Control V Shift trick, and that will make sure that you're posting in website copy that's cleaned up. And then we can use our fun website editing formatting tools here, and I can format this exactly how I need it to be. Now, the other item that we had on the Did You Know was how to single space that text out, which is possible. Let me bring some text down here to show you. So if I wanted to put these lines closer together, like I have up here, if I didn't want this kind of double space, to do that, when I hit enter, I'm just going to hit shift and enter, or shift and return together, and that will single space those items out for me. So if you were curious how to do that, that is the trick. It is holding that shift and enter key down at the same time. Okay. So for images and background images on components, I pulled up one of our websites that I think they do an excellent job with background images on components. I know we've shared them before in previous webinars, but it is Gaston County Family YMCA. They really took advantage of that image capability on components on a lot of their pages. as well as just using images to break up the pages. So these are images they've created, whether it's in a tool like Canva or Photoshop, they've popped them into just the rich text component, and they're using that to break up content on the pages. So simple, it's not very complex. It's not it's kind of icon images, but it makes a really big difference in the look and feel of those pages. They've also done, if you can see here, these are the tabs page component. They have created in Canva or in another editing tool a background image that's just a gradient. It's just a color block image with a gradient, and they've uploaded that into the style settings for the tab so that each tab has this nice background gradient behind it. So instead of just white space, they've added just a little extra styling to that, which I think comes across really nice here. And they've got it on a couple other of their pages as well. Even within those accordions, they've got a nice kind of purple gradient that shows up and just a purple color block that's just going behind those rich text components within their column. So very easy to add these in, and I think it makes such a big difference in the look and feel of the site. So I wanted to showcase how that's being used on a live site, and then we can go through how to do that on a page now. So I've pulled up Canva. I just did an 800 by 800 square here just to get some type of shape there. I added a square shape and just dragged it to cover the whole space here. And then within the color options in Canva, you can select a solid color if you need. There are gradient options here. When you click into that color, you have the option to do different styles of gradients. We know we've done an image webinar before where we go through a lot of Canva in more depth, but you can create those color block images that you'd like to see. We'll go ahead and download this. And then on your website, when you're working with components specifically, so if it is just a rich text component that I'm wanting to add this to, every component has the additional styling settings at the bottom of that page component. So within the styling settings, there is the option for a background image, and this is where you would then upload that color gradient. So you can add media. This uses the media library, so if you don't already have the image in here, you can add that new file. We can insert it in here. And then I need to put some text in here so that we can see. We'll just copy that over, and then let's go, we got to do a page name too. Let's save this. And this is that, this was the body area kind of above on that basic page. This section below was that rich text page component that now has a background gradient in here. And if I had something that was darker, it was maybe more blue, I also have the option of changing that text to white. If I need that text to stand out a little bit more, you can always do a darker gradient with white text and play around with how that's looking on your pages. So if you had kind of a darker image, I would probably leave that as black font there, but wanted to show that option. Let's cover that back. And now the background color image can be added to, like I mentioned, any page component on the site. So if you were doing a set of columns, when you add your equal columns, you have styling settings that will apply to the columns as a whole. So it's going to be behind all of the columns, no matter what. But you do also have the option, if you need, when you're adding your rich text for your column content individually, you have styling settings on those individual columns too. So you can do individual column background colors, or you can do one as a whole there. All right. And that was it for my Did You Knows here. I do see a couple of questions in the Q&A that we look, I'm just reading through them right now. Is there a webinar on the use of Canva? Yes, we do have a webinar. We'll send it out at the end. The rest of the questions here, these are great for our Q&A session. We're going to save this to the end. We can walk back through how to kind of answer those questions on the site for you. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it now to Christina, who is going to take us through some more basics on creating basic pages.
Yes, thank you. All right, so yeah, so as Jordan explained, we're just going to kind of break it down here, and let me share my screen here shortly. And just gonna kind of cover the areas of when you're creating a basic page. I'm just gonna kind of walk through and highlight some items that maybe you are aware, maybe you are not aware that you have when it comes to creating your page content. So what I've done here is I'm creating a basic page, and to do this, I've gone to Content, Add Content, Creating a Basic Page. So you'll have your first is your title. So kind of self-explanatory, you'll put your title of your page. And in this example, I'm going to just create, my example is going to be a donor, a privacy policy page. So you'll put your title beneath that. Now you do have the option, and again, optional, to add a header image to your internal pages. It is not required, but when you do, it will take your title and it will center it at the bottom of that header image. So you can open your file browser here. You can utilize an image that you've already uploaded to your image folder, or you can upload a new image, which is what I'm going to do in this case. I'm just going to add a new image file and hope I can get to my image fairly quickly here. I'm going to just do da-da-da. And I think I had one specifically I wanted to use. So bear with me. So we're going to add this image into our header. And again, header images are optional, but it's just kind of creates a break in your image content, adds a visual aspect to it. So with your header images, just like within your image content, your content area, you do have a focal point tool that you can utilize. So that is that little cross in the center. So you can drag and drop that to kind of create that focal point where that center of the image is going to land. So if we wanted to kind of show more of the individual's hands, we could move that focal point up, or further down if we want the laptop to be more of our image. So I'm just going to kind of put that right in the middle for us. And then you'll have your alternative text. So this is always good to just create a description. This is coming into play with your ADA compliance, which would be just a short description of the image of itself, which, you know, person, this is where it always gets kind of just whatever you think the image is showing. On a laptop, yes. So what that just does is so that when someone is viewing your website with a reading device, when they run their cursor over that image, that is the information that is being read back to them. So they get kind of a visual of what that image is on your website. All right. We're going to kind of move on down here to our body. So this is where we're going to be putting in the body text of our page content. Now, when creating your pages, you can either work completely within the body, or as Jordan previously mentioned, you can break it up by utilizing the body and your page components. So in that case, you can start the body with just a quick introductory paragraph. So I'm going to grab that here, which is going to bring me to how Jordan shared that control SV tool. Yes, that is very easy and quick, but I personally, I guess it's just because out of habit, this is what I use. There are sites out there such as editpad.org. It's a free tool that'll allow you to paste content into the pad and it will strip all of the formatting for you. So that's what I've done here, in which case then you can just grab, excuse me, grab that text, come back over to your page and then paste right in there. And it's stripped all of that formatting you would have carried over from the previous source. So now what I'm going to do is just utilizing my toolbar up here at the top. I'm going to just create some formatting adjustments. So here I'm going to break up my text a little. I'm going to create a nice header. So all of your sites have preset headers, and these are based on your theme design. So they are already preset size and colors. So you can come here using that drop down, select one of the headers you'd like to use. You can also go within the text itself just to break it up a little. You can adjust the color. Again, your color should be adapted to your branding. If not, please reach out to your account manager. We can certainly make those adjustments for you. Or maybe if you'd like to have additional color options. So I'm just going to kind of break this up and we're going to add in some color here. I'm going to use our bulleting tools here. And now what we're going to do is continue further down building out our page. So now I'm going to add in some components. Now I'm not going to go into too much detail because we do cover our components in previous webinars, but just to touch base on the styling, we're going to add some equal columns. So I'm going to select our columns equal component. And in this case, I just want to add 2 columns on my page to break the content up. So what I'm going to do is add 2 rich text components within that column, because that's what's giving me my 2 columns. So I'm going to add a rich text for column number 1 as this loads, and then I'm going to add 1 more rich text for column number 2. So again, popping back over to my edit pad, I'm going to grab my verbiage for my column 1. And I'm going to paste that content right into there. And you'll see I have some spacing issues, so I'm just going to kind of go in here, readjust some of my formatting, just to make it look nice and pretty. And this is where, again, like Jordan was emphasizing, you can use the imagery. Add some images within your text content to break it up. Utilize that formatting, changing your headings, your colors within that. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to add an image within this component. So I'm going to click on that image icon. And again, I'm going to open our file browser. And I'm just going to select a random image in this case. I don't need anything big. So let's just add, let's not do Facebook. Let's add our people here. So I'm going to add my image. Again, you'll add your alternative text of image of people holding hands. And then you can set your alignment. In this case, I'd like it to be to the right. I'd like my text to wrap around that image. So now here's a little kind of side trick. Once you've added your image within the body of your content, you have a drag and drop feature. So let's say you add an image and it's a fairly large image, and we want to bring it down to a smaller size. If you kind of hover over your image, you'll see that little black box in the corner. This will allow you to click and drag and resize your images. And again, then just double clicking will allow you to adjust the alignment of that image. All right, so moving on down, I'm going to add my column 2 information. Again, coming in here. And again, just kind of spicing it up. You can just, change some colors, just allows you to highlight some specific text. Maybe we want to bold some of the content and so forth. All right, so I've added some additional content beneath that utilizing the components. And again, kind of highlighting what Jordan expressed, you can go into those individual components using the styling settings. You can add that image background. So you do have some preset colors here. For example, we could do a light gray, but you can also, make those custom colors to adapt to your branding, have the gradient imagery. And so you can do that by adding your own background images. All right, moving on past the components. We have what is known as your SEO analyzer. So your SEO analyzer, it's a tool that you can help to analyze your website's visibility when individuals are doing Google searches. So for example, so you have your keyword, you have a little snippet, which will normally pull from the first paragraph of your content, as well as these great analysis tools. So this is just kind of a key to help you improve your visibility when individuals are doing searches. And you can come in here, so you can set that focus keyword. You also have the ability to edit the snippet if you'd like to highlight another portion of the page content as well. So beneath that analyzer, you have your publish. So again, this is where we will publish and unpublish content. So if you are creating a page that maybe is not 100% ready, you can always uncheck that box, save it. It will save the page, but not make it published so that it could be accessed from someone outside of your website. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to scroll back up, and I'm going to just cover the areas over here on the right-hand side. I already had these pre-open, so I apologize. So we've got your revision log up the top. So when you are first creating your page, you can create a log message here. And then each time you go in and edit an existing page, it is going to create a revision. So when that happens, and then when you go to that page, you'll see with your tabs, you'll have an edit and a revision tab. So that will keep kind of a history of every time a change is made. So if you make a change on the page, you save it and you go and look at it and you're like, oh my goodness, that did not work as I was hoping. You can go to a previous version of that page that was saved previously. And so you'll be able to, each time you make a change, you can come up here to your revision log. You can make a quick edit. I edited the listing of agencies on the page, just so you can kind of make a note of what you changed when you made that edit. You also have the ability to add your page to the menu. You can check that block. Your menu link title by default will always be your page title, but you can come in here and shorten this, need be, or expand depending on what your page title is. You can add a brief description for when they're hovering over it, as well as setting where within your main menu structure that menu is going to show. So again, just noting that you're selecting the parent link. So if you were to select to get involved, then that means that this new page is going to show as a child menu under that get involved menu option. You have your URL alias. So by default, this will automatically generate the URL based on, again, the page title. But you do have the ability to come in here, uncheck that block using the backslash, and then creating your custom URL. So if you want to shorten it, maybe use some hyphenated verbiage, you can do that within that alias. In this case, I'm just gonna let me remove that backslash, just let it generate an automatic. And then you also have your authoring information. So if you've ever been curious, well, who created this page? When was it created? You can always click on that authoring information link and it will tell you when this page was first originated. So just a little helpful information there. And I'm also going to just briefly touch base on this, your pages. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe every single content type has this. You have a section that is called meta tags. Now, I am not very well versed in this, so we're not going to go into much detail, but if you have anybody, and there's a lot of information out there on the internet about it. But again, it's just increasing that your visibility out there on the World Wide Web within Google searches or and whatnot. So a lot of tools here that are at your disposal that you can go in and use. And again, like you said, if you can Google meta tags and get a lot of information on how to best utilize those tools within your website. All right, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to just go ahead and save what I have in place, and then we're going to go back and add some additional information. So I'm going to click save down at the bottom. So here is my new page. So I've got my header image. You'll see here, it's taken my page title and centered it on my page. Then we have our nice lovely content. These are our headings with our columns, again, using that background color just to break some things up. I've inserted that image there. So now I'm like, okay, well, I've created my page. Now we're going to touch base on how to add videos within your page content. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually add some video here within this specific component. So I'm going to open this component to edit. And I guess actually I'm going to go back real quick. I should highlight that. I just realized. I don't know if people are aware of this. When you are working with your page components and you've added them to your page, let me click. I don't think it registered my save. You can actually edit those individual components straight from the page. So as you hover over, you'll see you got that little pencil icon that I clicked on very quickly. So this is going to allow you to go to that specific component instead of opening the entire page to edit and so forth, and then trying to, kind of dig through and find that specific component. Okay, so your site allows you to embed content. This is mainly used, especially with our customers and with embedding YouTube videos. You have your campaign videos, maybe your kind of Q&A videos that you've created, messages from your upper management, your leadership. So anywhere where you can grab an embed code, you can then add that content into your website. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to add a video within this text. So what we're going to start off by doing is just kind of creating our embed, like I guess it would be like a tagline, just so I know where to put it. So I'm going to just say I want to embed video here. Because now what we're going to do is we're going to click over to the source side. This shows you the HTML side of your content. And what I'm going to do is going to go over to YouTube. Now this could be YouTube, this could be a Vimeo video if you utilize Vimeo that provides you with an embed code. But here I'm going to just go to one of our webinars, and I'm going to grab that embed code and put this video right on my website page. So we're going to copy that. I'm going to go back over to my editing page. And again, where I typed in that embed video here is where I'm going to paste in that code for my video. And then I'm going to click source again, and I'll now be able to see that video directly within my page content. All right. And then next, we're going to lead right into links, hyperlinks. So you have different options. So one, you can hyperlink within another page within your website. You can hyperlink to a PDF or an image file, as well as hyperlinking to an email address. So how you're going to do that is by utilizing that hyperlink tool here within your toolbar. So let's say, for example, we're going to go ahead and highlight One Each Technologies. And I want to hyperlink this to the One Each website. So I'm just going to put in the website's URL. And then it's kind of a good habit to get into is by clicking this advanced link here and ensuring that you're always having your links open up in a new window. So we're going to click save. And then now let's say maybe I wanted to link this text to a PDF file that I have. So again, using that hyperlink, I'm going to click on that linking tool. But this time I'm going to open up my file browser. And then what I'm going to do is you can either upload to an existing file that you have here, or you can click on the upload and upload a new PDF or image file to link to. In this case, I'm just going to link to an existing image file that we have. And again, clicking that advanced, open in a new tab, and I'm going to save. All right, now let's show hyperlinking to an email address. So let's say I'm going to put somebody's email here, maybe as a contact, for more information. Let's see if I can type this. Please contact Christina. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to again highlight that text, click on that hyperlink tool within my toolbar. And this time I'm going to do the email link, which is mail to colon, right? That's colon. That's semicolon is with the with the tail. I got to remember that. And then I'm just going to put the email address here. And we're going to click save. In this case, I don't have to worry about the advanced because it's automatically going to open up in my email program. So we're going to click save. And so now what I'm going to do is now I'm going to save all of the changes that I have made within my component. I'm going to let this load. So now we can come down here. We now see that I have a few hyperlinks in place. I have my video added. So here, if I was to click, this takes us to the file, the image file that I linked to. This here is directing us to the website. Oh, I didn't put that. I forgot my HTTPS in my link. So that was my boo-boo. And then, of course, if I was to click on this, it would then open up, which on my other window that you guys can't see in my mail program. So, but yeah, so that about does it on my end. I don't think, ladies, am I forgetting anything? I don't think so.
Oh, this is
But that's
wonderful.
kind of the basics on creating a page. Actually, there is one last thing I wanted to add. Forgive me, because I do get asked this a lot. What is the difference between when I'm in here creating a page, between a basic page and a landing page? There's only one thing. It's very easy. And I'm going to be honest with you, it comes down to a preference. Some people prefer working in a basic page. Some people prefer landing page. The only difference is that body area. So when you go to content, add content, and you create that basic page, again, letting these load for me here. As I highlighted earlier, above the component section, you have what is known as your body area. So on a basic page, you can work completely within that body with your content, or you can use it as an area to put like some introductory text. And forgive me, it's just taking a while for this to load on my end. My Firefox is slowing down. And that is the only difference. So if you go to create a landing page, you do have a quick brief page description section, but you do not have that body area. You go straight into utilizing your components and building your page out strictly in the component features. So that is the only difference. And again, it just comes to preference. One is not better than the other. It just is how you want to build your page out. So, all right, I'm going to end it there. So I will stop sharing. Thank you.
Thank you. That was awesome. All right. Well, I'm going to move on now to talk with you all about rotor images, those front page, beautiful big banner images that all your website visitors get to see as soon as they come to your websites. I'm going to talk about rotor images first, and then I'm also going to talk about managing and editing your menus on your website. So a few things about these front page rotor images, a few tips before I go in and show you how to add them, to edit them. And a few tips to keep in mind is one, try not to, I know a lot of our customers like to custom design their images before putting them on the website. And a lot of times we see that you're putting text in those pre-designed text, like within your Canva, within whatever Photoshop tools you're using to create the images. Try not to do that if you can, because, you know, we're all about the ADA accessibility that we keep mentioning. And when you're doing that with the text, one thing is the screen readers absolutely cannot tell what that text is. Their screen readers can't read it. And the other thing is it can really affect the way the image will adjust mobilely, because if the text is all over the place in the image, when someone goes to look at the image from a mobile device, you're going to see that text cut off. It's not going to work right with the image. Where the template that's with your theme, the text fields is with the rotor image template, that text will automatically adjust in mobile view. Another thing to keep in mind with these images is it's important to choose an image that does have a center focus in it. So you want something that when somebody does go from a mobile device to look at your website, there's a center focus point in the image, like something like it could be someone's face, some kind of object, but something that, you know, will center focus nicely when they look in mobile view, instead of look cut off, you know, and disproportionate. Tips to consider when you're getting ready to build these images. Another thing I want to let you know is we do have, One Each does have an image gallery that you can subscribe to. It is $100 a year, and we do update this image gallery frequently. We keep the need, your mission, the work that you're doing, and we have hundreds and hundreds of images in there that you can request. Many are sized nicely to fit into this rotor image space. So then they're ready to go for you. You can just put your text in the text fields for the images. So I hope you can hear me. I just did get a little message that my internet is lagging a little bit, but I hope we're good here. So now I'll show you exactly how to add a rotor image to your website. Content, it's very simple. If you go to content, hover over add content, and then front page rotor image. You'll come to a page like this on the back end, and you must give it a title. So just for this test, I'm going to do 2024 Gala event, because I have a gala image I'm going to use. This is our monsoon demo site theme. So some of the capabilities on the back end, depending on if you're in one of our older themes or what type of theme you're in for your website, some of these features will be available for you, some may not. But this is one of our newer sites. I do have the ability to do a subtitle. So I'm just going to say save the date just for the sake to show this today. And then when I'm adding my image for the rotor image, I have a choice. I can either upload it right from my desktop. So if you already have the image sized properly and it's saved on your computer, you can easily upload it from there. Please note too, when uploading, and you'll see this on all content types that have the capability to upload images on your website, there's always a teaser text that kind of gives you a little idea what the minimum size of these images should be. So here it says 2000 by 700. I would recommend going larger than that. This is just the minimum size. If it's any smaller than this, it absolutely won't work. If it's a really tiny image to begin with, it's going to, it's going to display pixelated and, not proportioned right. So it's very important that, the image is already sized properly before you try to upload it to the site. Another way that you can do this is I'm going to remove it real quick. You can also upload this image directly from your file browser. So if you prefer using your file browsers within the website, you can click on Open File Browser. Then you can upload from your computer, right to your file browser if you wish. I have it in there already, but we'll just do it again to show. And another option you do have in your file browser is resizing. So you can utilize this feature in your file browser for images. So if you find that it's, too large and you want to make it smaller, you always have this ability to put sizing right in here. Create a copy you can, and then resize. I just wanted to show you that there is a resize function within your file browser as well. Let's get out of there. Let's see. So yes, you can absolutely add the photo either way, whatever you prefer, from your desktop, from your file browser. Please give it some alternative text so it's ADA accessible. So say gala event here. And then this particular theme has the opportunity for two link buttons for rotor images. So here, you could put a link with link text. You can utilize both of the buttons or just one. If you only put information in one of these, then it will show. But again, specific to whatever theme you have as far as capabilities. But just for this, to show what it'll look like, I'm going to have this link to the front for now, but you could have learn more. And maybe register now. Because this monsoon theme allows us to have two link buttons. Also with your rotor images, you have the ability to decide what order they display. So this weight essentially means order. If you don't put a number in here, when I go to save this image, it will appear first when somebody comes to your site. But what I could also do, you can put a number in here, 1, but if you're going to number your rotor images that are on the site, you need to make sure that you do that with every single rotor image on the back end so that they all line up appropriately when somebody comes to your site. And this is great because you may have a really big, exciting event coming up and you want to make sure, this event, the image you're using for this event is the first thing people see when they come to your site. This is a good opportunity to use this order, this weight field. And this theme does let me enter a little bit of body text to the image if I want. So I'll just do that for now in the interest of time. And then when I save, oops, why is it saying that?
I think in the
Oops,
button, you can't have a capital.
which one?
The URL, it's
Oh,
case
yes.
sensitive.
Oh, thank you for catching that.
I've done
I'm
it
like,
a
okay,
ton.
where did I do that? So now it should save. And then when I go to look at the website, let's see, where did it go? Oh, there it is. Here is that rotor image. And so you see, and then I want to show you too, you have with the mobile, if you want to see this in mobile view to see how that translates, you have this mobile icon here. Move me out of the way here. That you can see how these images look in mobile view. There's a nice center focal crop. The text fields adjust perfectly. Hopefully you all have this on your sites. If you don't, you could submit a ticket to our support team and ask for the mobile view icon on your site, and they can add that at no cost for you. But this is a great little tool to check all your content out in to make sure you like the way it appears mobilely. So that is that. And the other thing I want to show you real quick on the rotor images is on the back end, if you click on content, to go in and edit your rotor images and see exactly what you have currently, going as rotor images on your site, you can always come here, click content. You do have the ability to filter by front page rotor image, click filter, and then you'll see everything that's currently on your site. We do recommend that you do not use any more than 5 rotor images max on your website. This is because it keeps your site functioning and running nice and fast. And also when your visitors come to the site, it's really hard for them to have the time to look at more than 5 images, and really capture the information that you want them to receive from these rotor images. So if you come back here, this is where you'll see everything that's running. You simply click edit, you can go in, you can edit all the information and then save. You also can go into each of these, change the order like we talked about by entering a number in the wait field. You can switch images out, switch these out as needed. And then if you want to unpublish any of these, okay, I'm having this huge, huge campaign event, and say you're United Way, you're having a huge campaign event, and this is what you want people to see when they come to your website. You can always come in here, I want to keep these images, but I don't want them showing right now. You can always select them, come up here under action and say unpublished content. I won't do that now to change this on the demo site, but if you just save this, then you can just have one featured image if you like, and come back later and republish these on the back end when you're ready to have them back up. So that's pretty much the rotor images, and I know we're really getting low on time and we want to have time for these questions. So I am going to move on to the menus, and how to edit and manage these on your website. There are a few ways with your menus as far as adding, editing. Many of you, most of you, and some with our older themes again, may not have this capability, but you do have the ability to edit your menus right from your homepage. If you click on the pencil icon, go to edit menu, you will see all your menu items here on the back end. You have the ability to go in simply by clicking edit to edit any of these. If you need to move them around, these little crosshairs are drag and droppable. You can move things, move them underneath different items, move them in as sub menu items if you need to. There's a lot of versatility here. You also can add a new link right from here simply by clicking on add link, give it a title, enter URL where you'd like this title, this link item, or excuse me, this menu item to point to. If you don't want it to point to anything, if this is a parent menu item and you'd rather have people clicking your sub menu items instead of the parent, you can set it to go to the front simply by, like we were doing, probably saw me do on the rotor image. If you put that in, it will just stay right on your homepage. You also could submit a ticket to our team to ask them to make the parent menu item not clickable. If you prefer that method, that can be done. But you definitely need to put something in that field. So then let's see here. If you scroll down, you can decide where you want this link to fall, this menu item. So if it's a sub menu item, for example, you want it under our partners, you could choose right from here where it should be placed. You also can choose the order under the parent menu link of where you want this sub link to appear. Put any number in there and then save. And then you'll see when we go under our partners, here's my sample link. Many of you have the expanded menu. So if that's the case, just to show you how that would look on the back end on your sites, if you're creating, like, for example, I used campaign as a menu link title. This is a parent menu link. It is important that you select show as expanded, because if you have that expanded menu, if your parent link has this checked, anytime you add a sublink to this menu item, it will, appear appropriately on the homepage for you as the expanded menu sublink. So I just wanted to show you that. But that's how you do this right from your home page. Just please, 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 if you're using the pencil icon, do not touch anything that has to do with the blocks because that's more for our team if they have to come in here for any reason. You will never have to use those. It's simply for editing the menu. And so you'll see you have this capability with your menu header buttons down here at the bottom, also with your footer menu. Down here, you can change any of these out simply by clicking on the pencil icon, edit menu. Now for all of you with footer menus, you probably know this. If you don't by now, you cannot edit. The only thing our team will need to do for you is if you do need to change pertinent details like your facilities, address, phone, the important information like that, that is a ticket to our team. They will get that changed out for you. That is the only field in your footer menu that they will need to take care of you also, or take care of for you. Also, any icons you might want to add if your agency's logo changes. You know, you need to add things like membership requirements, different logos. That's a support ticket and they'll get those added for you right away. And just real quick, so I showed you that's an easy way to be able to edit your menu, but another way that kind of can be the preferred method, especially with those of you that are in our older themes and may not have all the capabilities as our newer themes. You always edit your menus. This is one of the reasons you'll use the structure tab, right? So content is pretty much most of the stuff that you do on your website, you're doing through the content tab, but you do use structure for both your web forms, like your contact us forms, applications, things like that, and also your menus. So you can edit your menus right from the structure tab. So if you hover over menus, you'll see here's your main menu, here's your footer menu. You can easily go in and add a link and manage your menus, you know, right through this method. You can click on your main menu to see what you have, do all the same, you know, things that we just showed on the home page, go in and edit everything, add a link, move, you know, drag and drop things around. Just make sure, you know, you save at the end, especially if you're dragging and dropping, because it does definitely need to be saved. It won't save it unless you make sure to save it once you drag and drop. But yes, you can edit your menus just the same way using the structure. Real simple to add links. And then I was going to show like with the basic page, how you can add it, but Christina covered that. You know, anytime you're creating a page on the site, or an event page on the site, you know, using the event content type, you can always add it right to your menu, right from the page, you know, using the side editing block that she showed you. So for example, you know, like she showed you with her page, if you go in to edit this, you know, she was able to edit to the menu right over here. So you save a lot of steps that way. So if you're thinking about it, you know, you want, you know, certain pages to be in your menu, you can save a ton of time just by doing it right here while you're building the page. So I think that pretty much covers menus. Again, I was kind of rushing because I want to make sure we have time to answer your questions. I don't know, Jordan and Christina, was there anything else I really should have covered with that I didn't?
No, I think that was great. We got it all in. So we'll switch gears now. I know we've got some Q&A questions in there. We want to make sure we cover those. So I can start by hitting just a couple of them. So I see Sue and Tori both had questions in here about photos, and Sue, you had asked, how do you set the photo style and shape? And Tori, you asked what the dimensions were to create those gradients. On that example page that I used, this gradient I created in Canva, I just did an 800 by 800 square, just to give us kind of some type of background there. And Sue, if I wanted to create specific photo styles or shapes of images, I would do that in an outside source in a tool like Canva or Photoshop, and then add that to the site so I can get a specific shape of an image if I need. Let's see. Mandy said, how do you add a picture at the top of the page above the page title? That is the header image that was Christina was showing us. So if we are looking in the site on all of your basic pages and your landing pages, you should see a header image field on the back end of your page. And I believe there was another question in here that asked what size those images were. Let's see
Well,
who
she
had
was
that
asking,
one.
she was asking in regards to Canva, how to change it in Canva, but
Oh, yes.
so
I can show that in a second. But as a reminder, all those header image sizes are underneath those image fields. This is the minimum size. So if you are uploading an image that is smaller than this size, that's when you may see those images that look like they're stretched or they're a little blurry because the site is forcing that image to be this size. That's at the minimum. So we always recommend uploading an image here that's just a little bit larger than this size. Maybe it's 2200 by 800, maybe it's 2500, so you have a little wiggle room. But this is the header image field. You can browse your file manager here for an image, or you can upload a new one in and pull that right into place. And when you save that page, the header image will be uploaded there.
yeah. And I'll just add, it was Mandy questioned how to size pictures of the header so they're not distorted. So yes, so Mandy, just kind of following what Jordan said, when you're uploading that header image, you of course, number one, you want to make sure the image is large enough, because if you're starting off with a small image already and you try to make it bigger and resize it to meet that minimum size requirement, that's when that distortion comes into play. It gets large. So it's easier to start out with a larger image and make it smaller than vice versa. So just wanted to.
And the same applies for rotor images, exactly the
Yes.
same as the header.
Yes. Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah, and just kind of reiterating what Chrissy said in that center focus when you're utilizing your rotors, adding your rotors or your header images, keeping in mind that for the different your websites are automatically responsive. So as an individual's device gets smaller, the right and left hand sides of your images drop off, and will resize them, kind of resize to fit that screen size. So that's, again, kind of being mindful of your images. You don't want to have, all of your focal points concentrated on the sides because, when they go to a mobile phone, they're not going to see those. So again, just kind of making sure you're coherent of or aware of where your focal point is in your images.
Wonderful.
Mhm.
And then to add to that, Samantha Ford had a question about rotor images and not being clear, but a second question in there on if you are a subscriber to our image gallery, where do you find that image gallery? That is located at images.oneeach.com. Anyone can come here and take a look at all of the images that we have. You can keyword search them. If you'd like to sign up, you can click here to sign up for access to the gallery. But this is a great resource if you don't want to spend time hunting around for the perfect image. We've got them all here. They're all licensed for web use, and they're all sized so that they will fit within that header image and rotor image space. So this is where they're located. All right, back up, Kate. I see how to change the image size in Canva. Again, we have a webinar on Canva on our support site, but one of the reasons I love Canva is that you can create those custom sizes. So when you are in Canva, there is a custom size option that lets you enter your width and height. So if I were doing header image or rotor image items here in Canva, I again would make them just a little bit larger. I would do maybe 2200 by 800. So you have a little wiggle room on the tops and the bottoms. Okay. How, Cheyenne said, how can I delete old previous front rotor images? Let's go right to that. You can do that within your content management filter. So when you're clicking on content, personally, I like to filter by the content type front page rotor image. So I'm only looking at that specific content. These are all of the ones we have. If I wanted to delete an item, I could check it, hit the delete content action item, and then apply that. So this is another way you could bulk delete content if there were two I wanted to delete, but you can also do that from within the piece of content itself. At the bottom, you can click that delete button to delete that content out. Okay. We also had someone ask if we can explain what a rich text is and means. We've said that a lot. We do have a page component called a rich text editor. And what that means is that it's a text editor that gives you formatting options, rich formatting options, not just kind of basic, bold, and underline. You've got all of your headings set in here. You've got the ability to create hyperlinks. You can do bullet points and numbers. You can do the page alignment. So it's rich in the formatting tool. So all of our basic pages, the body area in here by default is a rich text editor, but then you also have that page component there that is a rich text editor. Okay, and you want to go, Christina?
I was just kind of going through here, jumping in. Kim just posted whether she unpublished it or kind of just replaced. It's going to come to a preference. One, is it an event that you may use again? If it's an event you're going to use again, then I would just unpublish it. And then next year you just go into that same page and just update everything. You can update the event date, the kind of the details. Or if it's something it's a one-time deal, not going to be used again, you technically could, yes, you could just repurpose and go in and change all of the information. So yeah, so it just kind of comes down to how the content is going to be used in the future.
Awesome.
And
Yeah,
I did want to
hesitant.
Yeah, I wanted
Don't delete it unless you're sure.
Yes, yeah. I wanted to follow because Samantha, I had answered a previous question for the rotors and the headers about the menu text color. So just to follow up, if your menus are white, and if you use a rotor image or even a header image that's very light in color, yes, your menus will kind of get lost, all of that content because of the white text. So another option would be is utilizing that kind of third-party Canva or whatever photo tool you use by adding, maybe if you have a light image, adding an overlay to it to kind of darken that image to allow that white text to pop out more. Is always an option. And you can use that gradient, so where you can make it darker at the top and have it more, transparent as it gets towards the bottom so that the true colors can pop out. So that's always an option to kind of help in aiding that white text to pop out. So, yeah.
Awesome. And Jackie, that is a great tip. I'll share do I unpublish a page or do I delete a page? She said a good tip that I caught was to not add a date or a QR code, so you can always use it year over year, kind of the same content and adjust it each year as needed. So that is a great tip there.
Yes. I'll jump right back. We can really, Kate, your two questions. I can, if you go to our support site and you go to the Drupal 9-10, there are some videos on how to utilize our components. So you will see one on the columns. So it'll show you how to add those specific components to the page, how to use them. So I would encourage you to check those out. And yes, once you embed content into a page, you can use the alignment to center, right, or left align. So for example, that YouTube video, I could go in there and center or left align that content. So,
all right.
I think we got everybody. I'm trying to
I think we got it
all right.
all.
Just in time. We're a little over, but
yeah, a little over. Thank you for hanging in there with us to the end, but we'll move on to our closing details. So thank you guys so much, as always, for joining us every month. We love seeing you guys on here. We love doing these webinars. So thank you for attending. All of our webinars are recorded and then they are posted on our support site. There is a webinar section there. If there was any item that you ever need help with, if something doesn't quite look right on your site, you can always get a support ticket into our support team. We also always encourage that you meet with your account manager, Allison, Christina, or Chrissy. They are excellent resources. They are wonderful, and please utilize them because they're always so happy to help. And then we do have our webinars. They are every month on the third Thursday of the month. The next webinar that we have for June is all about campaign prep. We understand a lot of our United Way customers especially are getting ready to go into campaign season. So we're going to do a campaign prep focused webinar. And then July and August, those are to be determined still. We've got some ideas here. We're finalizing some things out. So we'll send out an email blast with those topics. But if there's anything that you guys are ever wanting to see, if you have topic requests, please let us know. We'd love to hear that because we want to make sure these are useful to you guys. So again, thank you for joining us today. I know we're a little over, but we appreciate you all and we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Yes, thank you. Bye.
Absolutely. Thank you. Bye-bye.